the glue. Look at this little Utron. Solid copper, has a 6 millimeter hollow sphere in the center. So, but it won't. You can't like. I mean, if you had your Turon, it might be able to rest in that and spin. But Utron and Turon that go together. It's basically a bracket that's it's two pieces, and when you make them together, and when you separate them, it makes a perfect angle. So that thing, the Utron will just rest and it can spin freely, basically.
Nice.
I need the dimensions of that. I think they're going to be really simple dimensions. Because you got to make I think it's a 180 degrees on a certain, I'm not exactly sure how you make it, but if I just did it, I could probably figure it out. What am I doing, you say? I am making the amp funnel drive circuit. Can you close the door?
Yeah.
Sure. And it's for a 4-magnet rotor, and you'll see that these two coils right now are offset. See, now I got these little coils that go in here too. So I'm wondering. I think I need to move this over here. It's okay.
Hey Vlast, welcome to the channel.
Hey everybody.
This is Papa Bale, and this is a pulse motor.
Call it the amp funnel. It takes amps and it funnels it into speed, basically, by stepping down, transformer-wise, I guess. What it does is steps down the amount of amps that can go through and turns it into, or it just bottlenecks, one of the two. Working with the 20 gauge wire is kind of difficult sometimes because it likes to push you around. Let's see here, take this out. Alright, that's good. Now we'll take the 18 gauge or the 1 millimeter. It's got 180 turns in it. It's just additional like resistance, which will allow amps to flow through. It's just more copper that is thick, or thicker than say 32 gauge or 30 gauge. So that is definitely a magnet trying to creep out. All right.
Hey there, good to see you.
Hey, what's up, my man? What's going on? We are currently redesigning or trying to make an amp funnel. I made an amp funnel earlier in the year here. So we're setting up some offset coils that are going to act as basically resistors that allow amps to flow through. If that makes sense. We're setting it up with thick wire. I'm going 16, 18. All right, where is my tool?
What's up, Mike?
What's up, Mike? Where's my tool? Scraper.
Looking.
Here it is. Here it is. That's not a good place for it. Must have left it on the ground after I took off my last. Wow. Okay. Very magnetic. Very magnetic. Can I get this glue off here so I can set this coil up? Oh, so close.
That was a close shot. I'll get it later.
With my left hand.
Mhm.
All right, we're getting better, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting better. Okay, so now in the first offset position, it's a little bit easier to do this with the 12 magnet slots already being put on there, so spacing is a little more accurate. Now the original one had a toroid underneath wrapped in 18 gauge, but this one of course is not going to have that. It's actually right down there, actually my rotor. Alright, so there's one. This is going to have two power inputs. Okay, so it's going to have voltage coming in through this 16 and voltage coming in through this 16. And then what we end up doing is when we get to the drive coil, right? We put both sides into the drive coil. All right, spin is good. All right, what do we want to have our drive coil be? And maybe we should use this one. 20 gauge, 666 turns. And it'll basically go right here. Right?
Mhm.
Now it's the same thickness as these two. Or we could go with, just trying to think of what else we could use. But I think we're going to try this one. In the reed switch, instead of being placed in the beginning, it will be placed at the end because we have the two power inputs. Alright, I'm just mulling this over in my brain real quick.
Most of the wire comes from Amazon.
Yeah. If anybody has any suggestions for wire, they're free to lay them on the table. Alright. Notice how I haven't even started hooking this up yet. I'm just placing the coils. Do I want one here though? We're just gonna hook this up with what we have. I don't want to go looking through my boxes for the coils that I'll need right now. Sometimes I'm in the mood to look through my stuff, and sometimes I'm just not. I do have a lot of stuff now after 2.5 years of taking people's advice and suggestions. I have lots of different things. All right, so in theory, well, I've seen this work, so it's not really a theory, but this is my first time setting it up in a long time. So we'll see how it goes. First, power. See, look at that. Wow, that was great. Super spectacular. Get the glue off the end of this one right here, and we'll click the power to this one. Now we'll take this red one that isn't plugged into anything, and plug it into power number 2, and we'll run it into this 16 gauge over here. Now, that's, see, I'm glad I'm paying attention now, because that's not a power, that's a negative, and that would definitely not be good. That's the power. Okay, now we're gonna connect everything. We got power in on both sides. We're gonna go to the next coil. The next coil. We're gonna do them like that, like 2 at a time. I gotta just do this one step at a time. So got 16 going into 18 on the left. And it's like, why are you putting coils in the offset position with the reed switch when you know they're not gonna be quote unquote useful? And I think they are being useful, quite useful actually. You can put way more power in. And you got more copper to work with. You can up the voltage beyond the point you could up it without the extra coils. And this is rudimentary, it's all about instead of starting from scratch, using transistors, using circuitry. I do that, I like to do that, but I also like not doing that and just doing this, which is basic connections, man. This is simple, very simple. Okay, so this side's hooked up through 20. The Utron I attempted to wrap. It's solid copper with a little hole in the top, maybe to put a Hall effect sensor. I don't see this being viable for me anyway. I can't wrap something that small and make it shape properly. Yeah, I gotta respect my limitations. I shake. I have a tremendous tremor. It's unbelievable sometimes. So I don't practice doing things that are going to discourage me. And some people might argue that, practicing things that discourage you is the only way to be whole. It's the only way to move forward. Because then you'll eventually get better at them. And that simply in my head, that sounds great, but no. Nope. My problem is not a mental issue, really. I mean, I do, struggle with my tremors, man. They really kick me. All right, so we got 120 into this 20. And here we go. We're going to clip both of these sides to this one coil. It's like, what does that do? And I'm like, scientifically, I pretty much have no idea. But I would assume that when you turn it on, right, and the first thing that the power supply senses in the instant is going to be 16 gauge. So immediately it's going to put those amps forth, okay? And when the amps find that they can't funnel down this thing directly, you're going to branch off here, here. Well, these three are probably not going to have an amp branch off because they're all 20 gauge. You get that? Is that? If you think of it as you are the electricity, you know what I'm saying? This is what you're going to do, and it's easier for me to understand it that way. Good. So we got our one negative connection, which is this yellow one. And I'm going to hook it to this blue wire. It's getting hot. And the brown wire, actually, I want to do it from over here. I need one more clip. This is a long one. I guess I can work with that. Just had it going 900 RPMs with the reed switch. My max with any kind of transistor right now that I have, my max is 700. I've always liked reed switches. I started off with reed switches. I've got phenomenal rates of speed with reed switches. Yeah, your timing's wrong. This is wrong. That's wrong. I'm discouraged already. I'm moving on. Or I'm backing up to reed switches. All right, so this red clip is going to clip here. Oh, good Lord. There's no resistor on here. I went 2.2K ohms. and it didn't run at all basically, and then when 1,000 ran a little bit and 1,000 evaporated. So in between is 1.5, and I'm like, we might, if this blows like instantaneously, we might try 1.5. So what do we want? See if it works. Doesn't seem like it's gonna work. Let's see if we can it out. Well, it was an experiment. All right, so it's not working at this voltage. I'm gonna take out the cores. And we just got the one core. Oh yeah, I did have like a mott hooked up to it the previous time, so it was like going to 130 volts. This is 7. Try 10.
Recommend? Oh. Are you guys on live? There. Sorry.
Mike is saying the MPN sounds bad.
There's no, what? What do you say?
He said he doesn't know, but it sounds like a bad MPN.
No transistor, Mike. There's no transistor. That's just a magnet banging. It's in there pretty loosely. All right, so I would say that it's a terrible built bag coil spread. I would have to get all the coils that I used for it previously to make it work at all, really. I could try using that thing right there, but I don't think I'm gonna. Alright, so this is 20, this is 16. I think I'm gonna try just setting up the 16 gauge coils real quick. That'll be, I'm gonna call it a day. I'm not using any transistors right now. Just a reed switch. So the 20 gauge drive coils that I have hooked up right now work very well. And 666 turns of 20 gauge here and here. There are 250 turns of 16 here and here, and I'm going to swap out the 20 gauges for the 16. Yeah, this is going to be our final experiment for the day. We're going to use a reed switch. And then I'm going to go back, if I'm going to use a reed switch, to thinner wire. This has been great experimenting with thick stuff. I might actually try this build again with a transistor, just to give it a shot. But I mean, there are so many things that are not compatible with each other right now that I don't even know if I'm going to do that.
Hi, bird. Man. You want outside?
But these 20 gauge coils, they're babies, man. They really work. Pretty stable.
Mike says try the distancing the reed.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. That works stupendously. Giving it a little bit of space, and the amps draws super, very low.
And then Splash said, I fixed the office Keurig today.
Nice. Tell him who's boss.
That's right. We're proud. We are. Yes. I have to fix mine now that you said that.
Yeah, mine's a little messy.
Mm-hmm.
I've been furiously working continuously for days now. I had some like consecutive days I could string together, and I found out that I may have been going the wrong way. I mean, it looks cool and everything, and you can run another motor with it, and that's great, but in my arena here, it has limitations that I can't overlook. 700 max RPMs no matter what I do. I'm not playing like that. And I'm not going to bust open an old television to get what I need. Just not going to do it. Seriously, if they don't make the components that work well today, this is a dying breed. They have to make them so that they have to manufacture them so that they work well, or people can't get them. There's, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to become a super hobby to.
Yeah, it says there's value in these experiments.
Is that a question?
No, that's a comment.
Awesome.
And appreciate you trying it without a transistor.
Oh yeah, man, it's the best, and I hope that I can demonstrate that with these 16 gauge coils. I had it going up 950 RPMs with I think it was 6 magnets actually.
Mike says he prefers 28 gauge for higher voltage and impedance.
Hell yeah, man. 28 gauge is great. I'm gonna either do 26 or 22. Um, so we do pull some amps, just not a lot of amps. We're looking for speed really right now, not so much torque. I'll worry about torque later. What would be great is if you had a coil or a strand that did torque, you plug that into the power supply, and then parallel wound with a strand that does speed. You plug that one into the power supply as well. You have a dual drive that one strand does one thing better and the other strand does another thing better. Both things are going to be done by both strands, just that the alternating strands will do one better than the other, if that makes sense. And then you got your speed and your torque built into one coil. And I would say there would have to be a minimum of a trifilar coil. Minimal. Bifilar coil won't do what I just said. Alright, so we can plug this back in. Anyway, so we're going to go reed switch first. I'm not getting good sleep, man, so it's like my motor control is kind of funky. More funky than it usually is. Gotta see the doc for sure about that. Alright, let me think. This. We'll go blue. We're going to start off at a very low voltage because I'm just afraid the reed switch is going to blow as soon as it turns on because of how thick the wire is and how short the strand is. It's only 250 turns. I mean, it's like zing. Hook that up to an AC power supply. Jesus.
I got to do the D scale for sure. I'm not sure if the Keurig has the over temp switch problem.
Now, I had a suggestion to do 6 magnets and 120 degrees. I think I'm going to do that too. And I'll run that with both a reed switch and a transistor just to see. I think I've done it before, like several times, and we can look in my catalog to see if that's true or not. I do remember doing something like that though. Okay, 350. There we go. Oh, no, this one's dead. It was dead before I plugged it in. Is it dead? I don't know. It looks good. I'm not going to throw it out. And if this one doesn't work at 3.7, I'm going to turn up the voltage. Because it's obviously not enough. So it's working.
How important is it to have different gauge wires in a bifilar or trifilar?
Well, all right, for a bifilar, you want certain gauge wires are better for drive, like to put the electricity through, and certain gauge wire, I'd say, in my opinion, 26 and above would be good for a trigger. And the other strand is drive, so I would say 26 and up be good for drive, or 26 and down, so thicker wire be good for drive. The thinner wire would be good for, I would say don't go below 32 gauge for a trigger. Then you're really just begging for trouble. Unless you have really sturdy, solid hands. So this is 5 volts. That works pretty well. Yeah. All right. So you can put it here. That's cool. All right, we're going to move it out. We're going to turn it to 9 volts. 15 volts is our cap. We don't go above 15 because that's definitely going to blow the switch with the way this is set up. We might even just go 8, 7.5. We're going to eke it up. Man, I don't want to keep blowing these. Hell yeah. That looks like a sweet spot to me.
Mm-hmm.
7.5 volts, 763.2 amps.
Does thinner wire have a higher resistance?
The smaller gauge wires have higher resistances. But you can get the same amount of resistance out of a thicker wire, you just need a lot more of it.
Mm.
I mean, a lot more.
Football fields.
All that stuff kind of equals out but via turn. So you crank it around, you get a loop, a turn. You'd have to do an equal amount of turns of 20 gauge, and you're still not going to get the same amount of resistance as the little one. You'd have to do like an exponential amount of 20 gauge to get the resistance you would get. Let's use a constant number like 18,000 turns. A 32 gauge has, I mean, my meter said it roughly had 1.5K ohms. That's your resistance. So in order to get 1.5K ohms out of 20 gauge, you're talking a coil that's bigger than I am, basically. See that light is stuck on. There it goes. All right. It's not working. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, you saw it working. I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on again. It's really touchy. I like how they work better, in my opinion. For me, they work wonders. But I don't like how touchy they are. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna make let me think here, 22 gauge drive coils. I'm gonna try, because I already have these ones made up. I don't know if I'm gonna sneak it into live right now, but I'm just gonna move like these bad boys over here. Very simple. May have been a little overzealous. I gotta clean these. This whole area needs a thorough. Clean. So these are Bedini style coils with a 26 and a 30 gauge. Yeah, we're not lining up. That's it. And just leave it the way it is. It's fine. And then when I clean it up, I'm going to set it up again the way I want it to be set up. And I'll probably have to set it up again and again and again. That's just how I do it. Once I get it clean and crisp and I know where everything is, I can function rather well again.
Have you ever made a vertical one?
You mean like this? Instead of like this?
Like a...
That I go by the shaft.
Like a Price is Right wheel.
So the shaft is horizontal.
Yep, horizontal shaft. I've tried several times. I've tried it with, I tried printing one, and what it does is it gets too hot. See, I've tried numerous different things. Yeah, I remember that.
Now it's cool. That's cool because you got north-south orientation on all the magnets, affecting all the coils because the magnets are facing outwards. It's a really cool idea, and I think I might follow through with that. See, the coils go into holes. There should be two of those things with coils in all the holes in both of them. Shaft goes through the center and the rotor's in the middle. Now the rotor has these kind of magnets in it, right there.
Make a pulse motor paddle boat with two vertical ones. Oh man, that's Awesome.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Actually, sounds like fun.
What was the other? Here's another question. Oh, did you remove the cores? Yes, you did remove the cores from that previous experiment.
Yeah, the cores were way too much flux increase in the amps and voltage, and it fried the switch too quick. But I think these little coils with the 26 gauge should be fine to have a core on them.
I got about 15 minutes. And I can put it on the tripod if you want to keep going.
All right, let's see. So there's 911 turns of whatever 26 gauge in these. They are not lined up properly. I have an idea though. I got one flange laying around and I got this one.
Appreciate that beat.
Alright, so this goes up like so. Put this down there like that. And put this. That has graphite powder on it, so that should be the smooth one. Notice how there's no maglev either. No maglev. I mean, there is a magnet under there, but I took the bottom one off, so.
Yeah, I saw that.
Alright, let's see if this one will work. Nope. Alright, I gotta switch it out. Last one, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I have more reed switches. I mean, just the last time I'm gonna switch this out right now.
We should go through and count the number of experiments that you just did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking for like one that's stable.
Bro, do you go through your footage to remind yourself what worked and what didn't?
I do sometimes.
Nice.
Depends on how far back. I'll look it up if I need to.
Nice.
I can remember a lot of it, but it's like
Right.
All right.
Thanks, Beat. Thanks for dropping in. Hope to see you soon.
Bye now. Let's see what we get.
I feel like this is a diary or a documentary almost of how the next great invention started. Thank you, Splash.
Nine volts. Oh, I can feel that nice breeze coming out of that. That's sweet. I think 20 gauge is obviously going to be or could be 22 now that I've thought about doing that. The 20, out of everything that I have built already, 20 works the best.
Nice. All right.
But it rips the, I mean, there's pros and cons to everything.
Rips the fabric of time. Portal. I'm just playing. Yeah, that's a good point, Splash.
Right. I'm quasi satisfied with that. That's good.
That is great.
Wasn't the
It's
fastest
been-
thing I've seen all day, but it works, and that's good.
And it's been a minute since you've been on the reed switches.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm gonna wrap some 22. I'm gonna wrap 26 in with it as a trigger.
Okay.
In case I want to run a transistor on it. See, the magnets are just resting in there, and we use inertia and gravity to keep them in place. Currently, I mean, I haven't reached any speed. If 1,000 RPMs is my max speed, these magnets are not coming out of here. Ever.
Thank you, Splash.
Thanks, Splash. But when we start exceeding that and we get the anti-gravity function happening and it starts lifting up like this,
Yeah.
if that ever happens, I'll put a cap on that. Because that means that these magnets could lift up, and you don't want that, because then they go flying.
Right. And the external force is usually coil?
Excuse me?
When these things happen, it's a coil that is the external force?
If you're talking about them lifting up,
Oh, yeah. I've only seen that happen once.
I've never really paid attention. And I think it was the buoyancy of the toroid magnets underneath.
Okay.
We've never had it going that fast.
Okay. Sweet. Because I always try to think of the science there.
Oh, there's lots of science in it. Yeah, but it's about the speed and counterfrugal and inertia. And the weight, it's got to be right. You know, in order to do certain things have to be a certain way for it to work efficiently. Like, that's why the pot is so important, because finding the perfect resistor for your motor, and this is why people replicate, I think, because that perfect resistor has already been found, and if you replicate it, then you can replicate that pretty easily. I don't like that. I like doing it on my own. As long as I know how to find the proper resistor, I like building my own stuff with my own, dimensions. I like to know what the original dimensions were, but I really just like to do this stuff on my, like, figure it all out on my own. That's why there's like certain equations that I want to know, like impedance, that equation, like how to find impedance. Not necessarily the trigonometry or the algebraic expression for it. I want to know how to find it. Okay, and if you're a good teacher, And you can teach me how to find it without all that crap. Okay, you just tell me what that means, and I'll be able to figure it out.
All right. Any closing statements?
I'm very passionate about electromagnets and magnetism. And as far as I'm concerned, that's all you need to get started. Am I a professional electrician? No, I've got about a year and a half in and no schooling whatsoever. I've learned everything I know on YouTube and Chat GDP. The AI chats that are available now.
All right.
I talk to them, they talk to me. That's awesome. I used what I consider to be a good one. Not sure exactly where I'm allowed to go with such things, so I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for participating. Your ideas are gold to me, and stay tuned because we're going to do really cool stuff. I might change this to 6 magnets, just letting everybody know right offhand, because we can do that. All right, thank you very much. Peace out. Have a good day. Bye now.